Okay, the technique we're going to work on today is counter to the counter. One of the most common submissions is a head and arm choke or head and arm triangle. And because it's a very common submission, there is a common ways to counter. So we got to have ways to counter the counter. In order for me to get a head and arm triangle, I need to get Steven's hand across his head like this. There's lots of different ways to go ahead and do this. If you have any questions about it, feel free to write in or just check all the other million YouTube ways to do it. In this position here, I'm going to grab my own bicep and I'm going to grab his head. Now right now I'm not putting it with the knee right position because it's actually so tight right now, I can probably finish it from right here. But when you really want to get it good, you're going to take your knee and put it right into the sternum, and it works. Just a little bit of a detail when you're putting the knee in the sternum. If you just place the knee on top, you're always where the ribs come here. That's about where you want it to be. If I just put it on top, that definitely hurts. But if I can manage to angle it underneath a little bit, it's even worse. So instead of just placing my knee on top, I almost want to start down here and go up into it. But as I'm doing this, if he goes ahead and answers the phone, what happens is that I can no longer put pressure on this other carotid artery. I can put lots of pressure on this carotid artery, but I need not one, but like two if I'm going to come to sleep. So if I come here, I'm not going to get the joke. What I'm just going to do is I'm going to switch to the Pez-Dispenser. Once I know that he's already blocked this here, I'm going to keep this hand behind his neck. I'm going to reach up and I'm going to grab my own bicep. From here, I'm going to grab his forehead. I'm going to move up here into a knee right position. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to traumatize his neck by pulling down on his forehead and pulling up here. Sort of the way you open up a Pez-Dispenser. It's actually much more painful and it's a lot quicker than the head and arm choke. From there, if that for whatever reason doesn't work, you can go right ahead to a bread cutter, which is a modification on a baseball bat choke, except it's without a gi. For some reason, this position is not working. I can just take this arm, put it underneath his head, slide this up here, still keeping the knee right position. This is pretty important for this choke. And that's the bread cutter. One of the things that we study and what we do is always the counter, and the counter to the counter, and the counter to the counter to the counter. Really important to know all this stuff. To the point to become academic with it, you really want to know all this stuff. Because you don't ever want to get stuck doing something and have that be the only thing that you can do. Basically, I call it having a golden anchor, you know? A golden anchor is pretty useless if you're holding on to it in the middle of the ocean. Right? You always want something else to go to. Something's not working, go to something else, go to something else, go to something else. Now, for this particular technique, what I like about it is that when you put someone in a head and arm triangle, unless they escape immediately, you're putting an awful lot of pressure on them. And when you do jiu-jitsu a lot of the time, it's all about finding just that little tiny, bit of passageway to breathe through. You know what I mean? So sometimes people will survive for long periods of time just because they know that they're about ready to go, but they found a little bit of air. And so sometimes when you're attacking your opponent, you want lots of different ways of taking that away, right? Because once they found it, unless you can exert more pressure, they're actually starting to win because you're getting more tired. You're not getting to the point where you can finish them. So that's what I like about this, is that you've already wrapped up the head and the arm. They've done a good defense, but all that's going to happen essentially is all that pressure is going to get even more worse, and you're essentially then putting all that pressure on the back of the neck, which is always a really scary thing too. And this is another thing, you usually don't want to do it too much with your friends, although I did to Steven a lot today, but it can be very scary when you traumatize the bones of the necks. You really feel like that neck crank. Usually when people first start jiu-jitsu, they do a lot of neck cranks, and then people sort of are savvy to them. It takes someone very, very strong to pull off just regular neck cranks. But in this particular case, because the thing is already wrapped up so tightly, that neck crank can be very, very scary.